Hello everybody, Scott Golden here with the World Class Championship Wrestling Review Series and the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel. And we're moving into June in the World Class Review Series, specifically June the 2nd, 1984. Lots of new talent here, or new highlighted talent anyway, except for the main event. That's pretty normal, but we do kind of move into a bit of a new age in World Class here in the second half of 1984. We open with Killer Khan versus Tony Torres. Torres we saw a couple times in 82, but Terry Gordy alongside Killer Khan. The story is Gordy brought Khan in as a friend, kind of a favor from Japan, because Gordy spends a good bit of time there. So kind of I wouldn't necessarily say an honorary freebird, but there's a camaraderie between the two of them. One thing I'd like that Khan does here is he rakes the forearm, the back of the forearm, over the side of the face of his opponent. And it's something super small, insignificant to most, but if I'm in the middle of a fight and I really want to tick somebody off, I'm going to rake my forearm right across their nose. And it's extra, it's extra insult to injury, and it's probably not very comfortable either. Anyway, lots of clotheslines, punches, kicks from Khan. Of course, Khan known for his feud with Andre the Giant in 81, WWF. He does show up later in 87-ish in the WWF one more time for a short cup of coffee. But Khan, kind of a bit of a journeyman, strong backbreaker here as well. And he hits a top rope knee and does a lot of damage, showing the Adriatic or Asian spike, and starts to jab that into the throat area of the opponent, giving himself a victory here. Good basic start for him, as I think we did see him last week, but this is his first singles match. Chris Adams discussing Stella Mae French. Stella Mae French, of course, the, stepmother, for lack of a better term, of Sunshine, and she gets involved in beating up on Jimmy Garvin, basically claiming that Garvin was the one that caused Sunshine to be, messed up in the head, and she has hatred for him. She goes right after him. She's probably in her 50s, early 60s, whatsoever, and a lady wrestler from an earlier generation. I think they just tried to bring that in to add some character, no pun intended, to the events of things. Then we go into another enhancement bit of a match. John King, who is not someone I know a lot about, against Jules Strongbow. Strongbow, of course, a former WWF Tag Team Champion in the earlier 80s and late 70s, but a singles star here, obviously doing a Native American character, and most notably tag team partner of Jay, as mentioned. First time I've actually seen him in a lot of singles action, so that'll be interesting for me. I always like seeing new talent from an older generation, and yes, I realize I'm old enough to have seen all this stuff before, but again, I didn't join my fandom until the territories were dying, so that's part of the reason I enjoy going through all this old stuff. I wish there was more 70s and 60s footage in complete form, but there's not. But we'll take what we can get while we get it and enjoy it while we can. So in any event, Strongbow, really kind of a very basic wrestler, lots of hip locks, hip tosses. King is used as an enhancement talent, but made to look competitive enough that Strongbow's not getting a squash. They do trade holds, hammer locks, and the like, arm bars and the like, and it's clear that there's a plan, at least for Strongbow, to be in the middle of the card even in this match by the amount of time he's being given. You can generally tell if a guy gets a quick squash, that means he's getting a push. If a guy gets a mid-level match, let's say 8 to 12 minutes, that means he's pushed enough that fans believe he can win most matches, but not getting a major push like he's going to be a huge championship contender. At least that's the booking of World Class. It'll be interesting to see if that premise applies to other territories. It certainly doesn't apply to the crazy booking today, as I swear most bookers don't even know how to write stories beyond maybe a 3-month story arc. Of course, then you see a drop kick by King out of nowhere, and I do want to mention I did get a message via YouTube. If I'm so knowledgeable, why haven't I started my own promotion? And the answer is I can't do it properly financially, and so I won't touch it until I can. I don't agree with the indie mentality of let's pay guys $20 and a can of Coke for working and traveling. I believe in paying people a living wage. Anyway, that's the idea behind that. The modified spinning toe hold into a backward falling where it's almost tearing the knee ligament out is the finish here, and Strongbow gets a victory, the second of such that he gets. Gino Hernandez, who I am super impressed with. I've seen Gino in footage and tapes and single matches. Have not seen Gino in terms of a week-to-week star. But he is the American champion right here. I mean, his first appearance back with the organization was the Big Texas Stadium show at the beginning of May, and we are 1 month later, and he's the American champion, so certainly a big deal. Hernandez has a $1 million body. Also says he has about 10 years of experience. That I did not know. Majority other areas in Texas, southwestern most notably, and so he's in there with Johnny Mantell. What's amazing to me is Mantell, usually a mid-card worker, and the brashness, the cockiness of Gino certainly is notable right from the beginning. He is pacing the match incredibly well, does do a lot of selling when necessary for his opponent. But what's interesting is every move he makes, even his defensive maneuvers, is brash, and he does not waste a lot of motion, but he is very athletic, likes to bail out to the floor a lot. Clear that he is a master heel, and a lot of people have said that his passing, which comes about a year, maybe a little over a year after this, actually about a year and a half, is, one of the more tragic things in wrestling. So as I watch him over the next year, I'll see that. But back and forth, and he grabs a hold, chin locks and the like. Obviously, a guy who is really good at walk and talk. I don't think he would have done the money in Memphis, but I think he would have been a good fit for the Memphis territory in the sense of the walk and talk. He does the flare flop and fly up and over the turnbuckle, which is a surprise. Not a lot of guys have done that in 83, 84, and so seeing him do something that athletic, big deal. Also changes the cadence of the match really, really quickly with just something as simple as a knee lift, then gets a suplex takeover and immediately tries to gain an advantage, gets the victory with a diving back elbow off the top, and then we go to our main event. Something we've seen a million times before, Kevin Von Erich and Michael Hayes. Obviously, the Freebirds still in town. My memory, either they came back really quickly, did New York TV and came back immediately, or they didn't leave for New York the way I thought they did. Maybe they don't go until the beginning of 85. That may be it, too, because I remember them being there during the Cyndi Lauper run, which I believe begins summer of 84, so maybe they're there a few months before Mania, and I misremembered. But Michael Hayes, Kevin Von Erich certainly going at it, as they have literally dozens of times on this TV over the last year and a half or so. Basic match for them. Although, again, and I feel like I say it too much, but at the same time, it bears repeating that Michael Hayes, a tremendous heel, doesn't waste any motion, whether it be with a spinning neck breaker, and he follows up with a cover, or even, punches and selling of punches. Just amazing there. He goes for at about the 35.5-minute mark, he goes for some sort of diving splash that he missed out of the middle of nowhere, bails out after 2 drop kicks, and Michael Hayes does one of the more convincing "what the heck am I doing here" kind of motions. Body scissors by Von Erich gets things going in a direction that he wants to go, and also clear that Kevin Von Erich back up on his feet and, gets the hip toss. Von Erich, known for jumping really high on splashes and elbow drops and the like, really gets a lot of spin in his step, and it's almost better that way. Terry Gordy interferes in the match right near the close. This leads to a frustration point for the Freebirds. Also, Gordy and Hayes both find themselves on receiving ends of the Von Erich claw. But before the interference, Hayes goes to the top rope, misses with something or other. And the disqualification victory for Kevin comes about because Michael Hayes can't handle the claw, and Terry Gordy does not want to see him get defeated. Gordy comes out and ends things. That will close the first week of June in 1984. 2084, that'd be a while. Anyway, we'll be back with plenty more right after this.